Hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the stream. Going live a little earlier today. My mom, she usually comes over on Thursdays. She gets off work early every Thursday, and it's just a routine every week. She comes over on Thursday, so I'm going live before she gets off work. She gets off work at 4, so I wanted to go live, before she gets here. Finish up the stream before she gets here, but. Appreciate all you tuning in. Just a 3-game slate tonight. We're not going to have a ton to talk about, but I'm here to chat for about an hour or so, answer all your questions. Appreciate all you tuning in. I know maybe since we went live a little earlier today, we might not have as many people tune in, but that's totally cool. Just keep the chat flowing with questions, and I'll be able to answer all the questions you got. But Ryan, D Money, Hot Boy D, appreciate all y'all tuning in. Michael. My man T-Bone, thanks for the content. Noah, cash 4 of the last 5 days. I'm glad to hear that, T-Bone. Glad you're having some success, my man. Christy, what's up? D-Money, top cash locks. On a 3-game slate, I don't even know. I wouldn't play cash on a 3-game slate, but I guess if you are playing cash, you probably want to try and build around Giannis, I think. He's the guy that I would want in cash games. I think James Wiseman looks like probably a really good play you're going to want in cash. Brook Lopez I like at 5,100. There's really no good value today, man. The value sucks. There's nothing under 5K besides James Wiseman that I'm even remotely confident in. Sure, DiVincenzo could put up 25, 30, but am I confident that he does that? No. I don't want to play Royce O'Neal. Wiseman I do like. If James Wiseman plays 28 minutes, he's going to crush that salary, 4,500. That's always the question, though, with James Wiseman is, how many minutes is he going to play? But lately, they've been giving him 26, 28 minutes. If he's not in foul trouble, I think that's what he plays today. So I like him as a value, but there's no good value that stands out right now. Sure, that could change from now till log, but it doesn't seem like there's really going to be any news that pops. The only thing we're waiting on is the status of LeBron, and I'm just going to assume that LeBron plays because he's been questionable basically every day, and he's played every slate so far. So that's kind of what I'm liking right now, D-Money. What's good, bro? What's up, Steven? What's up, Iceman? Ryan, what's up? You the GOAT. I appreciate that, Iceman. Took second in a small 200-man GPP on FanDuel last night. Nice job, Mike. Those small entry GPPs, man, those are the ways you can make money in DFS. So many people want to chase the big 100K to first GPPs, and while obviously it would be awesome to win that, you can make a really good profit playing those small entry fields. They're easy to win, in my opinion. You're not going to make a ton of money, but you can grind out a profit over time and be a profitable player in the long run, which is the goal. Best value on a day with no value, right? So I think James Wiseman, if you consider him a value, he looks like probably the best value right now at 4,500. Which Yahoo contest do you play? T-Bone, I'm always in the baller, so I usually play 10 to 20 lineups in that, and then I'll put those same lineups in all the other tournaments. They have a $7 tournament, they have a $3 tournament, they have a $1 tournament, so I'll play 10 or 20 lineups, and then I'll put all those in each tournament. KCP looks like a decent value. Yeah, he's okay. I'm never confident in KCP, but he's going to play probably mid to high 20s minutes. He's only 3,700. He could give you 22, 24 Draftkings points and be a decent play at his price tag. Is KCP going to win you a tournament? Probably not, but can he not tank your lineup? He could tank your lineup, but I think on a slate like this, if you're trying to jam in those studs at the top, KCP kind of makes that work. So I don't mind him. Not a guy that I'm confident in at all, but he's cheap. He's going to play at least mid-20s minutes, and that's really, all we can ask for on this short slate where there's not a ton of great value. Who is the best point guard under 5K? Shoot, I don't think there's really many point guards down here I like. Probably Emmanuel Quickly. DiVincenzo you could go to, but I think Quickly, I don't know what his minutes are going to look like. So Austin Rivers is doubtful, but Alec Burks is expected to play. So I think those kind of things just negatively, or I don't say they negatively, but they kind of offset. So Rivers being out, I would assume just, Burks plays the minutes that Rivers was getting. So Quickly should still probably get 20 to 22 minutes. At 4,100, he has shown upside when he does get minutes. It's a good matchup. The Warriors are playing really fast this year. Big-time pace-up spot here for the Knicks. I guess Quickly would be my favorite point guard under 5K. Either him or DiVincenzo. I'm really liking Harrell and Lopez. I'm not as high on Montrezl Harrell, but I definitely like Brook Lopez. I think Brook Lopez is a little bit too cheap, for sure. Let's get that money. I'm liking Drew. I like Drew as well, T-Money. I think Drew's a pretty solid play. Normally, I don't play Drew when, Giannis and Middleton are healthy, but on a slate like this where we don't have a ton of options, I think at 6,600, he can easily pay off that price tag in what should be a close game against the Lakers. we're going to get, 36, 38 minutes from Drew if this game is close, and he can definitely give you, 40 DraftKings points in 36 minutes. So I do like him at his price. Portis will have to play more due to the size of the Lakers. I mean, I don't know. Like, Portis' minutes, I think they've been trending down recently. Like, I really don't play Bobby Portis much. I haven't played him at all this year. It seems like the games where he does get minutes are like the blowouts. I mean, maybe he gets like 22 minutes, but the minutes have been trending down, which I think is definitely a concern. I think in these big-time close games against these big-time opponents, like, you're just going to see the Bucks starters play big minutes. We saw Giannis, Drew, Middleton, they all played big minutes against Brooklyn. Even Brook Lopez got pretty good minutes. DiVincenzo will probably get his 26, 28 minutes. I don't think I'm going to be on Bobby Portis personally, but you do you at the end. I'm just here to answer questions and give you my thoughts. That doesn't mean you have to play exactly what I say, because I'm definitely going to be wrong at times for sure. What about Pat Connaughton? Yeah, I think Pat Connaughton kind of falls into that like KCP category, whereas he's going to play like low to mid-20s minutes. He could give you 22, 24 DK points. I mean, I don't want to play Pat Connaughton, but if you're desperate for value, I think he's fine at 3,400. Under 4K, I would say him and KCP are probably like the two guys I'm like the most confident in. I'm really not confident in anyone down here, but KCP and Connaughton would be the two guys I would, at least consider. Quickly, a good value. Yeah, I think Quickly's a solid value. I don't know if we're going to get like 40 DK points again, but if he plays 20 to 22 minutes, he could give you, 24, 25 DK points and be a solid play at 4,100. And like I said earlier, with Burks playing, obviously that's not going to be great for Quickly, but since Austin Rivers is not expected to play, I just expect Burks to pretty much get the minutes that Rivers was getting. So I don't know if that really affects Quickly too much on this slate. Yahoo cash games where the money is at. Yeah, cash games on Yahoo are definitely beatable if you're not having to play against a bunch of pros, because there are a good amount of pros on Yahoo. But yeah, you can definitely be profitable in cash games on Yahoo for sure. You're talking the 50-50 and double up. Oh, yeah. Cash games, yeah, those are 50-50s, double ups, Mike, or T-Bone. Head-to-heads, those are considered cash games as well. Thoughts on Obi Toppin? I'm not really on Obi Toppin. His minutes, I think he only played 8 minutes last game. Yeah, he played 9 minutes against Orlando. I don't know if that was their plan or if he just, got hurt. I don't really know, but he's not someone I'm really confident in. If you would have told me Obi Toppin was going to play 20 minutes, I'd have a lot more interest, but I just have no idea how many minutes he plays. I mean, on a point-per-minute basis, he's been solid this year when he's gotten the playing time, but, the injuries have derailed him this year. The playing time's just been all over the place. Quickly's been playing well off the bench. It's hard to trust Obi Toppin. Even on a short slate like this, I don't think I'm really going to be looking to him. What's up, Noah? Drummond or Pascal? Drummond? We mean Drummond. Ask that question again, Courtney. Oh, Draymond. I got you. So Draymond or Pascal? Between those two, I would definitely go with Draymond. Jordan Clarkson worth putting in the lineup? Yeah, I do like Jordan Clarkson. Last game, even with Joe Ingles back, he still played almost 30 minutes. And Jordan Clarkson's a high-usage player. When he comes off the bench, man, he's chucking. He's taking a ton of shots. He just needs the minutes, and the minutes were there last game with Ingles still on the floor. That was my one concern last game was, with Ingles back, was Clarkson going to take a hit in terms of minutes, and he didn't. He still played close to 30 minutes. So if we get close to 30 minutes from Jordan Clarkson again, at his price, 6,100, yeah, he's definitely in play for sure. Bucks need size today. Pat Connaughton won't be as used as much as previous games. I mean, that's possible. Great content. I'm liking Quickly and Bogdan for cheap and going with Giannis and Randall. Thoughts? I think that's okay, John. I definitely like Bojan for cheap. Quickly is obviously risky, but if he does get the minutes, there's definitely upside because he is a productive player when he does get minutes. Drew, Giannis, Middleton stack. Ryan, if you're playing all three of those guys in the same lineup, you probably want to have someone on the Lakers side. And in that case, you just want to game stack the game and hope that it's high scoring, hope it stays close. I mean, by far, the Lakers-Bucks game is the most appealing on this slate because it's got a 228.5 total, whereas the next highest is Utah, New Orleans at 216. So this Bucks-Lakers game, it should be high scoring, it should be close. I could see playing, 3, 4, 5 guys from that game. If you're playing Drew, Giannis, and Middleton all in the same lineup, then yeah, you probably want to have at least 1 or 2 Lakers. I just don't really see a scenario where those 3 guys make the winning lineup without having, a Laker in there as well. I hate these small slates. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of short slates like this. Normally I play like really low volume. It's just there's so much variance on these slates, man. Guys are like so popular or everyone's just got ownership. So if a guy goes off and you don't have him, I mean, you're basically screwed. Like if you play Giannis today and he disappoints and let's say AD goes off, I mean, you're probably buried right there. Like, I don't know. I like when there's, 8, 9 games where there's just a lot of guys at each position. The more players there are, the better. I think the better it is for you as a player because, the more people or the more players there are at the position to choose from, that's just the more difficult it makes for other people to, decide. Whereas on short slates like this, when you have 4 or 5 guys at each position, I mean, you guess wrong on one position, and that could be what costs you pretty much your entire night. 5 to 6 games is perfect. Yeah, I think that's probably where I like to. Like anywhere from like 6 to 8 games, that's the sweet spot, I think. Usually anything over 10 I think is too much, and anything below 4 is too less. So, like 6, 7, 8, that's good for me. Alec Burks is a dark horse tonight. If he gets solid minutes, he could be nice. Yeah, that's the question, though. What are his minutes going to look like? I don't think he's played in like 3 or 4 weeks. Like, when was the last time Alec Burks played? Let me see. He last played on December the 27th, so it's been almost 3 weeks, almost a month since Alec Burks last played. Yeah, if you told me Alec Burks was going to play 30 minutes tonight, oh yeah, I'd be all over him at 5,300. But I have no confidence that he sees even 20 minutes. Like he might be limited. I assume he will be limited. It was an ankle injury, so normally when guys come off of ankle injuries, they see limits in their first game back. So if Burks is limited, that just makes me feel even a little bit better in Emmanuel Quickly. Does Burks mess with quick? Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Josh. I mean, I think with Austin Rivers out or not expected to play, like Burks will basically just take Rivers' minutes, and then if Burks winds up limited, then yeah, that just makes me even more confident in Quickly. I think regardless, Quickly's probably going to get 18, 20 minutes, maybe a few more, depending on how limited Burks is. And maybe if Elfrid Payton, struggles out of the gate, we could see Quickly take Payton's minutes, and they've done that before. Give Payton's minutes to Quickly if he's playing well. What's up, Noah? How do you feel about Barrett? I think RJ Barrett's fine. He's not someone that I feel like I'm going to be going out of my way to play, but if he's like a last guy into my lineup, I think, I'm totally cool with that. Given the $1,200 savings, I would probably rather roster Kelly Oubre over RJ Barrett, but Barrett's been playing better lately. Last, few games, 33, 41, 42 DK points. We know the minutes are going to be there. With a guy like RJ Barrett, he's definitely someone that he can disappoint at times. Like he'll just have those games where he just can't make a shot. He'll give you, 30 DK points, but in a good matchup against the Warriors, a fast-paced team, like RJ Barrett, definitely in play at 6,900. Me, though, personally, I think I'd take the savings and play Kelly Oubre over him. I'm not touching any Warriors tonight. I mean, I like James Wiseman a lot. If you tell me James Wiseman's playing 28 minutes, I mean, I'm all over him at 4,500 on DK. Him and Oubre are definitely my 2 favorites from the Warriors. Curry, I think you can mix in. Draymond, you can mix in. But I do expect to have a lot of Wiseman and a lot of Kelly Oubre. I like your content, man. I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you for tuning in, my man. Miami Mike with a $10 super chat. Miami Mike, bro, you donated $20 yesterday, man. You got to chill out. But I appreciate it. And leave a message. Like, if you're going to donate, leave a message, please. But thank you, Miami Mike. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. What's good, Noah? Thanks for having live chats. Keep up the great tips. I appreciate that, Obi-Wan. I'm here probably Monday through Friday, almost every day if I can. I need to start streaming on the weekends too, but the weekends are kind of my time off, but I do want to try and stream on the weekends if I can. Bledsoe, Holiday, Mitchell, DiVincenzo, LeBron, Barrett, Randall, Kuzma, and Robinson. Andrew, that looks pretty solid. You know me, I'm not a big Kyle Kuzma fan, but on a slate like this, on a short slate, he's viable for sure. I think that's a pretty solid lineup for now. So I'm doing FanDuel, and it's similar to Yahoo's shooting guard, except that Schroeder is a point guard on FanDuel. So who would you be your favorite cheap option at shooting guard other than Schroeder? I don't know the FanDuel positions, but I think if Jordan Clarkson is shooting guard, then I like him quite a bit. If Barrett's a shooting guard, you could play him. Obviously, you could pay for Donovan Mitchell, but I think Jordan Clarkson, Schroeder, those are the 2 guys I like quite a bit at shooting guard. What's the most you've ever won from one contest? I won $10,000 in a Yahoo free roll tournament back in 2017 or 2018. It was an NBA tournament. Do you ever see any merit in more balanced or reach for a star on Yahoo lineup? It's all dependent on the slate, T-Bone. I think this is a slate where, we have Giannis, LeBron, AD, Curry. Like, I think Julius Randle, like, you're going to want one of those guys in your lineup on Yahoo, especially with the pricing on Yahoo. Like, the pricing is so soft. There's so many guys that are like $20 and below that are really good plays. Like, let's see, Schroeder, Clarkson, Oubre, James Wiseman, Brook Lopez. Like, all these guys I think are really good options. Quickly is only $13. Like, you can play these guys and easily fit in, a stud or two. So, yeah, I would want one of those studs. From Randall up, I think you want at least one of those guys in on Yahoo. Probably two if you're playing just one lineup. I think you want to try and jam in two of those guys. It's a lot easier to build around, studs on Yahoo than it is DraftKings because the pricing's so soft over there. When was your first big win on Yahoo? I mean, I would say it was that tournament, Kyle. When I won that tournament in 2017, that was my first ever, like, I don't want to say life-changing win, but like, damn, I just won 5 figures playing DFS. That was a huge win for me. I've took down the baller before back in the day when it was 10 entry max. It was like, 25K in total prizes with like 2-3K to first. I won that a couple times, but my biggest win was the free roll tournament, 10K. How you feel about Bogdanovic? I like Bogdanovic. Normally he's not a guy that I go out of my way to play, but on a 3-game slate like this, he's cheap. He's 5K on DK. He's $14 on Yahoo. He's a scoring-dependent player, so he can be frustrating to roster. If he's not knocking down his shots, then he's probably not doing much. But, we've seen, Bojan, he can get hot. He can have those games where he goes for 30, 35 DK points. The minutes are going to be there, which is, I think, a plus. He's going to play 30, 32 minutes as long as the game is close. Camera's messed up. God damn it, bro. God, this shit was doing this crap yesterday, bro. It'll just refocus at some point. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't know why, but this Logitech camera, like, it just doesn't focus, autofocus. Or it will at some point, but it takes a while. Hey, your content is dope and helps me out a lot. I have a question. Zion and Curry or Giannis and Schroeder? Between those two, Parth, give me Giannis and Schroeder. Yahoo has fantasy. Yeah, Nick, they launched their DFS platform in I think 2015. I'm pretty sure. That was when I first started playing DFS. It was on Yahoo back when they launched. They're not as popular as DraftKings and Yahoo, or DraftKings and FanDuel. Like, people just don't know that Yahoo has DFS. Obviously, people play season-long Yahoo, but nobody knows about. I would say nobody, but a good amount of people don't know they play. They have a DFS platform as well. I mean, they still got pretty good tournaments. Like, their NBA tournament on a 3-game slate, they have a 30K tournament with 5K to first. I mean, that's still a pretty good amount of money. Audio's, yeah, I mean, the audio should be fine. It's just the camera. Sometimes it's blurry, sometimes it isn't. I'm sure it'll focus at some point, hopefully. Would you play Quickly and Burks in the same lineup? I mean, it depends on Burks' limits. Like, if Burks' going to be limited to like 20 minutes, then I'm not playing him. But if we can get like 26 to 28 minutes from Burks, then yeah, I could see playing him and Quickly in the same lineup. But you wouldn't want like Payton, Quickly, and Burks. You wouldn't want all 3 of those guys. But we could see a scenario where Quickly plays well off the bench and they give Payton's minutes to Quickly. Like, they've done that before. So yeah, it's fine. But just wait and see if Burks is on some sort of limits before you play those 2 guys together. Lonzo or Bledsoe, who would you go for? I would go for Lonzo there between the 2. Lonzo, I was high on last slate. I think it was Tuesday's 2-gamer, and he wound up on a minutes limit. So, like, obviously on a minutes limit, you can't play him. But today we'll have to wait and see if Lonzo's limited again. If he's not limited, I think he's going to be low-owned again. I was expecting him to be low-owned Tuesday. Obviously, with the minutes limit, nobody played him. But today, if we get Lonzo full go, no limits, I think on a slate where we're kind of looking for a way to get different, Lonzo's only 5,500 on DK. I think he looks like a really good option, for tournaments, low owned with upside. What do you think about Joe Ingles? I'm not really on Joe Ingles. He only played 20 minutes last game. I have no idea how many minutes he plays today. He was productive in his time on the floor, but I think we're only going to get like probably 22, 24 minutes from Ingles. I think there's other guys I'd rather roster on this slate. Can you make a living doing DFS? I mean, yeah, you can make a living doing anything, Henry. Lopez, Adams, Ball, or Harrell? I'm probably the most confident in Lopez between those 4, but I would say I would rank them Lopez number 1, Ball 2, Harrell 3, Adams 4. I mean, all 4 of those guys are viable on a short slate like this, but that's how I would rank them. Can you fade the studs over 10K? Well, there's only one stud over 10K, Calvin. That's Giannis. So can you fade Giannis? I mean, yeah, you can fade him. You can play LeBron or you can play AD. You can play Julius Randle. But I think if I was only playing one lineup tonight, I'd probably have Giannis in my one lineup. Bledsoe's only 4,700 on FanDuel. Yeah, that's pretty cheap. I don't look at the FanDuel pricing, but 4,700 for Bledsoe, yeah, that's pretty cheap. Kuzma over under fantasy points for a giveaway. Let's do it. that was totally different. Someone asking me a question about playing Kuzma on I don't know how many games it was that day. It was like 8 games that day, and he was asking to play Kyle Kuzma. That's why I got onto him. That's why I was like, what are you doing playing Kyle Kuzma on an 8-game slate? Now, if you play Kyle Kuzma tonight, I'm not going to yell at you because it's 3 games, and basically anybody's in play on a short slate like this. Lonzo is still in the winning lineup. He was? I don't think he was, Big Buck. I don't think Lonzo was in the winning lineup. At least not on Draftkings. Noah, you mentioned about a one-on-one challenge the other day. Do you know how that's done? I'd be up for a challenge. I mean, if you're talking about head-to-head, yeah, you can send me my username on Yahoo. It's GOAT of DFS. You can send me a head-to-head for however much money you want to play for. T-Bone. It's usually just when trolls come in here and start trolling, I'll tell them if you don't think I'm good at DFS or you question my skill, you can send me a head-to-head, and they never do. Now my my loyal followers, I don't want to play you guys, but if you want to play, go ahead. My username is out there. How do taxes work at the end of the year? If you're talking about DraftKings, they send you a 1099 form. If you have over $600 net winnings at the end of the year, they'll send you a 1099 form with basically how much money you have your net winnings. So let's say on December 31st, you sign up for DraftKings on December 31st and you win December 30th. On December 30th, you win $1,000 your first time playing DraftKings, and then on December 31st, you lose $1,000. You're not going to get a tax form because you're basically, you broke even for the year. So it just adds up over time, Antoine, basically for the whole year. How many lineups do you play? I like playing 20 or 50 and seem to win more often than playing 1 or 2 lineups. Yeah, I do like playing 10 to 20. I think, you can play one lineup, but, when you're just playing one lineup, when you have all your money riding on one lineup, it can be frustrating at times just because, you're either going to win or you're going to, lose everything most of the time. So I think playing 10 to 20 lineups, if you can hand build 10 to 20 lineups, that's probably the way to go, in my opinion. And they have a lot of good, on DraftKings, they have a lot of good 20 max contests that are low entry fee, that are flat payouts that you can play that you can definitely be profitable in. Lopez or Draymond, I would take Brook Lopez there, Coley. $3 entry, 100K to first he was. Oh, I didn't see that one. I was talking about the big GPP, but I didn't know Lonzo was in the winning line. It was pretty crazy. I want to play you one-on-one in baseball, but I don't respect, but I do respect you, so take it as a good thing. I got you. Well, my username is GOAT of DFS if anybody wants to ever play. Joel for MVP. It's close between him and Jokic, Kevin. I think either him or Jokic right now is the front runner for MVP. Both those two guys have been playing so well this year. What is the best site to build 10 to 20 lineups, and do you CSV upload the lineups or individually input them? So me personally, I hand build lineups. So if I'm playing 10 or 20 lineups, I'll just hand build them. The only issue with that is if news breaks after lock, like some crazy news breaks after lock, then you're gonna be in a little bit of trouble because then you have to manage 10 to 20 lineups. You have to go through each individual lineup and fix each individual one, but I'm fine doing that. So, yeah, I just build my 10, 20 lineups by hand. But you can, there's projection sites out there. There's optimizers out there you can pay for. You can, CSV, you can upload the lineups into DraftKings. That's what I used to do. When Roto Grinder's lineup builder was free, I used to use a lineup builder. And I was able to have success doing it, but I enjoy hand building lineups. Wiseman could end up being the highest owned center with his price. Yeah, he's probably going to be popular tonight if I had to guess, but I think I think his upside is just too high to ignore at 4,500. If he was like 6K today, that'd be a totally different story. But Wiseman's only 4,500, so if he gets like even close to 30 minutes, he's going to blow that price out of the water. So I think that's probably chalk you want to eat. At least I think so. There's other ways to get different on this slate. What do you think about Middleton and Wiseman? Yeah, we talked about Wiseman already, Barnell, but Middleton I'm fine with. I think I'd probably rather play Giannis and Drew over him. Middleton's definitely in play. He's actually been playing really well this year, and normally I'm not like a Chris Middleton guy. Like I rarely play Chris Middleton when Giannis and Drew are healthy, but he has been really good this year. He's been scoring. He's been playing a ton of minutes. Him, Drew, Giannis, they should all get probably 36 to 38 minutes if this is a close game, which it should be. I think at Middleton's price tag, like I said, I'd rather take the savings and play Drew. There's some other cheaper small forwards I like Kelly Oubre, who's almost $2,000 less. But yeah, Middleton's fine. Not my favorite play, though, overall. Jordan Clarkson or Drew Holiday. Robert, between those two, I'd go with Drew Holiday. I have a good amount of interest in both Clarkson and Holiday, but between the two, I would go with Holiday. What do you think about Bullock? I'm a bit worried about Bullock. Now that Alec Burks is back, I just don't know how many minutes Bullock is going to play. Obviously, he was getting a lot of minutes in the starting lineup when Burks was out. But now that Burks is back, will Bullock still get 30-plus minutes? I have no idea. Probably not. And he's already a guy that, even when he's on the floor, he's not going to be that productive. So he needs to play as many minutes as he can. I just don't know if he's going to anymore. The minutes should start trending down for Bullock if I had to guess. Bullock, Drew, and Dennis is good. I mean, Drew's fine. I'm not really on Dennis. You're talking about, Dennis Schroeder. I got you. So Dennis Schroeder, Drew, Bullock. I mean, I like Drew and Schroeder, but, Bullock, yeah, we talked about that. I mean, I'm a bit hesitant to go there given Alec Burks is back. We just don't know what his minutes are going to look like. Clarkson, that dude this year coming off the bench. Yeah, Clarkson's been really good off the bench. He's been playing so well this year. I don't want to say he's like front runner for, sixth man of the year, but like him and Boucher both have been playing so well off the bench. It seems like the Raptors are just going to keep bringing Boucher off the bench so he can win sixth man of the year. I guess I have no idea. I thought they'd start him at some point, but it doesn't seem like it. Do you play tiers? No, Barnell, I don't play tiers. I know what they are, but I've never played them. Do you like KCP? We talked about KCP earlier, Rick. I mean, he's cheap. He's 3,700. He's going to play, probably 24, 25 minutes. He could knock down a couple threes. He could get a couple rebounds, maybe get a couple steals. I mean, he could find his way to 22, 24 DK points. Am I confident in KCP? Not at all, because, I'm never confident in him, but 3,700, he's someone you can look to if you're, trying to find somebody under 4K. I would say under 4K, he's probably the guy that I'm most confident in, and that's saying something, so. Core plays for the day. Edwin, if you go to my Patreon, I have my core plays posted there, or my updated core plays. You can take a look at what my early thoughts on YouTube, but if you want my final updated core plays, those are posted on Patreon. What do you think about Caruso? I'm not really on Caruso, Gabriel. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play. I know he's cheap. He's close to minimum salary. He's 3,200, but even if he does get 20 to 22 minutes, Caruso playing alongside LeBron and AD, he's just not that productive of a player on a point per minute basis. Even if he plays 20 minutes, he could still give you, 12, 14 DK points. I just don't think I'm going to be going there on this slate. RJ Barrett or Donovan Mitchell? I think I would go with Donovan Mitchell between those two. Do you think you need two studs today or just fine with Giannis? Do you need two studs? I guess not. It all depends on the slate. If there's some random values that pop off, like let's say KCP has a really good game and puts up 28, 30. Let's say some other cheap guy like Pat Connaughton puts up 26. Then yeah, you'll probably see two studs in the winning lineup, because if the values do well that allow you to get the studs in, then yeah, you'll see two studs in the winning lineup. But I think I wouldn't force in any bad values, so I would just probably try and build around Giannis and then work from there. At least that's what I'm doing. You can build around whoever you want, but I like Giannis the most out of all the top guys. Appreciate your insight. Thank you, Barnell. I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Capella and KP saved my banking last night. Dude, Capella, oh my God. He was so popular last night, and I was not expecting that. Capella was he was like 40% on Yahoo. He was like 20% on DK, and he was expensive too. And he just went out there and he had like 80 fucking fantasy points. Like, holy crap. Once I saw Capella was like 40% owned, I knew my night was over because I didn't have any exposure to him. I mean, anytime a guy goes for a damn 80 fantasy points and you don't have him, I mean, you have no chance of taking down anything. Who should I pick for center tonight? I mean, if you can pay up, I guess you just like jam in these top guys. But if you're talking about, factoring in salary, my favorite centers when you factor in salary are probably Brook Lopez and James Wiseman. Those are the two guys I like most of the position, factoring in salary. Clarkson and Oubre or Middleton and KCP. Between those two, Robert, I'd go with Clarkson and Oubre. Do you prefer Clarkson or Wiggins? I would prefer Clarkson over those, between him and Andrew Wiggins. Do you and Big T have a good relationship? I've never talked to Big T. I know who he is. I follow him on Twitter, but I've never talked to him before. He seems like a cool guy, though. What do you think about Augustine? I'm not really on DJ Augustine. I mean, this is just another guy that's just going to play 18, 20 minutes. Just doesn't have a ton of upside. You're going to need to have, he's going to have one of those games where he just knocks down a bunch of threes or, just finds his way to peripherals. Sure, he could give you, 22, 24 DK points in 20 minutes, but I'm not going to be on DJ Augustine personally. There's just other guys I'm more confident in. I mean, I'd rather play KCP over DJ Augustine if I can find the salary. I only play one lineup on Yahoo. I find it hard to manage multiple. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that, T-Bone. On nights where I'm not going to be at my computer after lock, I'll only play one lineup. If I know I'm going to be out after lock, it's so tough. When news breaks after lock and you have to manage lineups on your phone, that's just the worst. So if I know I'm not going to be at my computer after lock, I'll just play one lineup. But today I'm playing probably 20 because I'll be at my computer. Put up a 331 with Durant and Sexton at 2% owned, but then Aldridge bit me over and I didn't cash. Damn, Derek, that sucks, man. Dude, if you had Sexton last night, if you had Sexton and Capella, I mean, I think those two guys they combined for 150 together, Sexton and Capella, or something close to that. Insane. Randall, Drew, or Zion, Donovan Mitchell. Between those two, Matthew, give me the first one. Give me Randall and Drew. Favorite shooting guard under 5,600? Let's take a look. Under 5,600. I mean, it'll probably be Eric Bledsoe. It would definitely be Eric Bledsoe. Unless we get word that Alec Burks is not going to be limited. If Alec Burks can play 30 minutes, it would be him. But I don't know if that happens, so I'd go with Bledsoe there. Conley or Schroeder? That's a close one, I think. Because I have interest in both guys tonight. I'd probably go with Conley there, but I do like Schroeder quite a bit. But I guess I'd take Conley between those two, Tyler. What about Kuzma, $12 on Yahoo? Yeah, Kuzma looks a lot better there. I might actually have some exposure to Kuzma on Yahoo because he's so much cheaper. He's $12. Whereas DraftKings, I think he's $5K. Any thoughts on Joe Ingles? We already talked about Joe Ingles. He played 18 minutes last game. He was really productive, but I just have no idea how many minutes he plays today. So, yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to be going there personally. Is Conley a better play than Clarkson? I mean, Conley's probably the safer option just because he's starting and we know the minutes will be there. But I think both give you plenty of upside. But, yeah, I guess if you want safety, go with Conley. Both guys have upside, though. But between the two, I'd probably go Conley. Wiseman or Brook Lopez? See, that's a really close one. I think Brook Lopez is probably safer because we know his minutes are going to be there. But, Wiseman, if you tell me Wiseman's going to play 30 minutes, I'd play Wiseman. But I have no idea if that happens. So I guess Brook Lopez is probably the better option personally. You need a util on Yahoo, $10. I think KCP is $10, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, I'd probably go with KCP. He's $10. There's not a ton of minimum salary guys on Yahoo that I like tonight, but KCP is viable for sure. You make any golf lineups? I just made one lineup on Yahoo, but I didn't look at anything this week on golf. I made the lineup literally last second. I can tell you who I got to. Hold up real quick. I know I paid up for a lot of the studs at the top. I got Cantley, Finau, Koepka, Sam Burns, Cam Davis, and James Hahn. That's my golf lineup on Yahoo. Oubre or Clarkson? I'd probably go with Clarkson there, but I like both quite a bit tonight. But probably would take Clarkson. Do you trust Portis today? I mean, I never trust Bobby Portis. It's not that I don't trust Bobby Portis to produce. I don't trust the minutes. Like I have no idea how many minutes he plays. Like there's so many guys that, they're going to be productive when they're on the floor, but it's all about the minutes, and Portis just isn't getting the minutes right now. So it's hard to trust him. Greek Freak or Julius Randle? I mean, between those two, I would probably take Giannis, Jeremy. I like both, but I would take Giannis just straight up. Zion or Brandon Ingram? I think I would take Zion there between those two. Who's your favorite spend-up option? It's Giannis for me, Anthony. I think if I can get anyone on the slate, any expensive stud, it's going to be Giannis. Ingles or Reggie Bullock? I mean, between those two, I'm not in love with either, but I would take Ingles if I had to choose one. Brandon, between those two, I'd go with Joe Ingles. What's the chalk tonight? I mean, probably James Wiseman on Draftkings. Brook Lopez will probably be popular. Giannis may be popular. I mean, this is a tough slate to gauge ownership. Like, I don't know who's going to be popular tonight outside of maybe those three guys. Like, there's just no standout plays tonight, at least not in my opinion, besides, like, Wiseman. Maybe Oubre. He's been playing so much better recently. Minutes have been up. Maybe Oubre will be popular. Those are a couple guys I think will get ownership. But I think ownership is going to be somewhat spread out, even for a 3-game slate, which is crazy. KCP or Reggie Bullock? I'd prefer KCP between those two. You think Giannis is going to bust? Well, don't play him, Kobe King. If you think he's going to bust, don't play him. Any love for Kevin Standler in GPP? Who is Kevin Standler? What? I'm guessing that's not... I think that might be a golfer. I have no idea. Best FanDuel plays? I don't play FanDuel, Dylan, so I can't really tell you the pricing over there. Lonzo, Payton, or Bledsoe? Between those three, I would go with Lonzo between those three. Bledsoe or DiVincenzo? Between those two, Kobe King, I would take Eric Bledsoe over DiVincenzo. Thoughts on Rudy Gobert? I mean, yeah, if you can pay up at center for Rudy Gobert, by all means, go ahead. But I think there's so many good guys like Lopez, Wiseman in the 5K range that look good at center. I want to get Gobert into as many lineups as I can, but I think given how center shakes out, how the position shakes out with these guys down here like Lopez and Wiseman that look like really good options, that's probably going to limit the exposure I get to Rudy Gobert. Davis and Brook or Giannis and Wiseman? That's a close one. I think between those two, I'd take Giannis and Wiseman. But I like both sides. But yeah, I'd take Giannis and Wiseman. Small forward, 6K or less. That's probably going to be Kelly Oubre for me, Steven. Yeah, definitely Kelly Oubre. Yeah, I heard Kevin Stadler. That name sounded familiar. It was a golfer. Best play under 4K? It's probably KCP. I mean, there's nothing great that stands out under 4K, but if you make me choose somebody, it would be KCP, Sanjay. Thoughts on Schroeder? I mean, yeah, we've already talked about Schroeder. I think he's a really good option. He's going to get probably 32 to 34 minutes. He's been close to a point-per-minute player this year. He has the third highest usage rate on the team behind AD and LeBron, so I think at 6,300, you could definitely get 36, 40 DK points from Schroeder tonight in what should be the highest scoring game on the slate. So I do like him quite a bit. How you feel about Toppin as a value play? We've already talked about Obi Toppin. I'm not confident in his minutes at all. If you tell me he's going to play like 20 minutes, I'd be more confident, but I just have no idea if that happens. It's amazing how people react when you can name what team any NBA player is on, especially when you don't watch the games. LOL. Yeah, dude, when you play DFS for like 3 to 4 years, it's crazy how you just like literally know every player. Like you could probably pull up a picture of any NBA player that's like on the active roster, and I could tell you who they are. It's crazy. And that's not because I'm so knowledgeable. It's just that when you play DFS every day, you see these dudes' names every day. You're clicking on their names. You're clicking on their faces. Yeah, you just remember them. If you're playing one lineup, what 3 people would you prioritize? Probably Giannis, James Wiseman, and then either Oubre or Brook Lopez, one of those 2. You choose. Or all 4 of those guys. It's up to you, Anthony. What game are you stacking tonight for cash and DK? I mean, I don't think you need to stack in cash games. Like, I wouldn't stack at all in cash games, but the most appealing game by far is the Lakers-Bucks game because it has the highest total. It's got a close spread. That's what you want to look for, when you're stacking games. Are Caruso and Quickly viable? I'm not really on Caruso, but I do have some interest in Quickly, especially depending on how limited Alec Burks is. That could be pretty beneficial for Quickly, given that Austin Rivers isn't going to play. Lonzo and Alec Burks or Schroeder and DiVincenzo. It all depends on the limits on Lonzo and Burks. Like if Lonzo's not limited, if Burks can play at least like mid-20s minutes, I'd prefer Lonzo and Burks. But given we don't know how limited those 2 guys are going to be, I'd probably go with Schroeder and DiVincenzo for now. Wiseman or Mitchell Robinson? I mean, Mitchell Robinson probably projects better. He probably projects for more points, but when you factor in salary, I would rather take Wiseman. But if you're just asking who scores more points, I mean, I would say Robinson probably scores more points. But I think Wiseman, for the salary savings, is the better play. Kelly Oubre or Lonzo Ball? I like Lonzo in tournaments, but I still would take Kelly Oubre there for sure. Can you give a shout-out to Hassan? Shout-out to Hassan, whoever that is. If that's you, shout-out to my man Hassan. What do you think about having Mitchell and Clarkson in the same lineup? On a slate like this, I have no problems with it. I think Clarkson and Mitchell were in the winning lineup last slate, so yeah, you can definitely play those guys together. Got a jet. I'll finish the rest later. Thanks, Noah. I appreciate you tuning in, T-Bone. Thanks for being here, man. I know you've been here basically every stream, so I appreciate it. Appreciate it, my man. Thoughts on Kuzma and Harrell? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Kyle Kuzma. I don't really play him often, but on a slate like this, I think he's viable. Montrezl Harrell's definitely in play. If you're asking me to choose between Kuzma or Harrell, I would much rather take Harrell. Harrell's still pretty cheap. He's down to 5,200 on DK. Now, obviously, I would rather play Lopez and Wiseman, who we've talked about a lot on this stream, but I mean, Harrell's probably going to get mid-20s minutes. He's a pretty good productive player when he is on the floor. I do have some interest in him. I think he's more of like a tournament play as a pivot off of Lopez or a pivot off of Wiseman. But Harrell's definitely viable. Eric Bledsoe or Alexander Walker? I mean, I would take Bledsoe there. Like now that Lonzo's back, I'm not playing Alexander Walker. He's just not going to get any minutes. Like how many minutes did he play last game? Let me check. I don't even know because I didn't play him. Well, he played 31 minutes last game. I did not expect that. I'm guessing maybe he got some blowout run. I don't know. Kind of crazy he got 31 minutes, but yeah, even if you tell me Alexander Walker's going to play 30 minutes tonight, I still probably won't have interest in him at 4,900. If he was cheaper, then yeah, maybe. Kelly Oubre or Lonzo? I think we already answered that one. I would take Oubre there. What do you think about Austin Rivers? Austin Rivers is doubtful. He's not expected to play. Kevin Knox, I'm not really on. Thoughts on Curry tonight? I mean, yeah, Curry's always viable. I don't think this is a slate where I'm going to be going out of my way to play Steph Curry just because there's so many other studs I like. I'd rather get up to Giannis. I'd rather save salary, play Julius Randle. I think the Lakers guys are probably better plays than Curry. But if you want someone that's low owned, that's going to have upside, I mean, Curry, I think, will be the lowest owned out of all the stud options. So for sure, you could play him in tournaments if you want to. Big leverage play more from the Warriors-Knicks game. I mean, yeah, that's probably, in tournaments, you could do that. I mean, the Lakers-Bucks game, I think, is going to be the most popular game in terms of ownership. You're going to see a lot of ownership going to that game because it's the most appealing for sure. Walker only played that much because Lonzo was restricted. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I thought he was going to go down to like 18, 20 minutes like he was playing before. He still played 31, though. But I think, yeah, if Lonzo plays like 28 minutes today, Alexander Walker will probably play like 24. He'll see his minutes go down. AD or LeBron, yeah, that's always a tough one. Like, they always project so similarly. Their rates this season are basically identical. LeBron has a higher usage rate. Between the two, I think given how the positions shake out, like, I'd probably go with LeBron because there's other power forwards I like. Giannis, Julius Randle. Whereas small forward point guard, there's not as many appealing options that stand out. So between LeBron and AD, I think I'd take LeBron tonight. Randle or Zion? Kobe King, I would take Randle over Zion. How was your day yesterday? I had some solid plays, stayed away from Goodwin, just didn't have any exposure to the OT games. Yeah, that was my problem. I mean, I had Trae Young. He was a core play for me yesterday once that Blazers game got postponed, but I didn't have Capella. I didn't have, all these other guys that went off. The Capella putting up that game when he was kind of popular, that was what really buried me yesterday. If Capella just had like a decent game, I would have been okay, but he smashed, and that was the end of my night because he was so popular. Lonzo, Conley, or Clarkson? I would rank those Conley 1, Clarkson 2, Lonzo 3. So I would take Conley over all those. Pope or Bullock? I would take KCP over Reggie Bullock. Quickly, DiVincenzo, Oubre, Giannis, Lopez, Schroeder, Randall, Wiseman. Speed Racer, I think that's a pretty solid lineup for sure. Brandon Ingram bounce back. I mean, yeah, he could definitely bounce back. He's still expensive, though. He's $8,500, so, factoring in his salary, I would still rather play Julius Randle. I'd rather play Zion for cheaper. I mean, Ingram always has upside, but on this slate, I think there's other guys I'd rather go to. RJ Barrett or Dennis Schroeder? Yeah, that's a close one, Michael. I think I'd probably rather take Schroeder, but it's close. Both are definitely in play on this slate. Middleton or Ingram? I mean, if you have the salary, I would take Ingram. Clarkson or Oubre? Yeah, I think that we've gotten that question a lot. That's a close one for me. I mean, it's so close. I think Oubre probably plays more minutes, so he's probably the safer option. But I think both guys give you plenty of upside. I could see playing both Clarkson and Oubre in the same lineup for sure. Who's your top center tonight? Well, when you factor in salary, Jeffrey, I think it's either Wiseman or Brook Lopez at center for me. When you factor in salary. Alec Burks revenge game. Oh, snap. I forgot about that. Forgot he played for the Warriors last year. Portis or Ingles? I think you get more upside from Bobby Portis. I mean, I don't really love either one of those guys, but if you force me to choose one, Ruben, I'd take Bobby Portis. What's up, DFS Noah? What's up, Tyler? Appreciate you tuning in, man. We're going to be live for about 10 more minutes, so any last-minute questions you guys got, I'll be sure to answer them. We'll be live for about 10 more minutes. Yahoo, Ingles, or Bojan? I would take Bojan there, Antoine, between those two. Clarkson, Barrett, Oubre, or LeBron, Ingles, Bullock? Give me the first one, Ryan. Clarkson, Barrett, Oubre. Holiday over Conley, right? Yeah, I'd take Drew Holiday over Conley. It's close, but I think I would take Holiday. How much salary can you realistically leave on the table and still cash to be different from the field? On short slates like this, solo, I think you can leave 500, 600, maybe even 700 on the field or on the table. Normally you don't want to do that on a big slate just because you don't have to. Like, there's always guys that are low owned on big slates you can play that make you different from the field. But on this slate where it's harder to find low-owned guys with upside, I think leaving salary is a way to differentiate yourself. So, $500, $600, $700, you can leave that on the table for sure on 2-game, 3-game slates. Is Schroeder getting Drew Holiday defense? I mean, he might, but I still wouldn't let that take me off of him, even though Holiday is a good defender. I mean, they might put Drew on Giannis or Drew on LeBron. I have no idea. Well, probably not. Yeah, Middleton will probably guard LeBron, and Giannis will probably guard AD. Clarkson or Lonzo Ball. I would take Clarkson there between the two. Drew Holiday and Ingles or Conley and Bojan. I would take Conley and Bojan just because I'm not a big fan of Joe Ingles tonight. So I would take Conley and Bojan. Bojan or Kuzma. I take Bojan over Kuzma. Core for tonight, like 2 to 3 plays you love. I mean, Jordan, we've talked about so many guys like Giannis, Wiseman, Brook Lopez, Kelly Oubre. Those are some guys I like tonight. But if you want my full updated core plays, those will be posted on Patreon. Pay up for both Giannis and LeBron, or just one in mid-range. I mean, on this slate, David, there's really not a ton of great value. So if you're paying up for both Giannis and LeBron, I mean, you're going to be playing some really shitty value. So I would say just try and get one stud in, then kind of work from there. And if you can make it work, then make it work. But I wouldn't jam in, bad values. I wouldn't play guys just to play them, Any news on Alec Burks? Last I saw Adam, he's expected to play, but we have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. So hopefully we'll get some update on that. I know it's FanDuel, but my lineup, please. Point guard, Curry, Conley, DiVincenzo, KCP, Ingram, Middleton, Randall, Kuzma, Wiseman. That looks pretty solid, Captain. I don't know how the FanDuel salaries are, but that looks pretty solid. Zion and Schroeder or Randall and Lonzo. I'd probably take Randall and Lonzo, assuming Lonzo's not limited. I'd take Randall and Lonzo, Danny. DiVincenzo or Quickly. I think DiVincenzo is probably the safer option just because we know his minutes are secure. But if you tell me Quickly is going to play like 22, 24 minutes, I'd take Quickly over DiVincenzo. But I just don't know if that happens. Thanks, man. Good luck tonight, everyone. Appreciate tuning in, Ruben. And yeah, good luck, man. Best of luck tonight. Alexander Walker got garbage time. That's why he played 30 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I didn't check that. I could have looked at the rotations. But yeah, it was weird to see him play 31 minutes with Lonzo back. Even though Lonzo was, limited a little bit. Bullock is a PJ Tucker waste of court time. Yeah, Bullock, he doesn't do much when he's on the floor. He's just going to stand in the corner, and if he gets a couple threes, he'll be okay. But, yeah, he's not going to do much in terms of, peripherals, rebounds, assists. He's just basically a three-point shooter. Giannis, Davis, Lopez, Kuz, Portis on single game. I haven't looked at the showdown, Jordan, so I don't want to give any, firm takes, but, I mean, that looks pretty solid for showdown, I guess. Oubre, Giannis, Mitchell, Wiseman, Lopez. I mean, yeah, we've already talked about all those guys. I like all of them. Mitchell's probably my least favorite of the four, but Oubre, Giannis, Wiseman, Lopez, I like all those guys. How much is Patreon? You can check it out, Brian. It's $20 per month for all sports. You can check out all that I offer over there if you want to. Link is in the description. $10 forward on Yahoo. Let's see. I think it would be KCP as a $10 forward. Or I think he might be shooting guard. Never mind. $10 forward. It would probably be Pat Connaughton. I mean, I don't really like anyone down here, but yeah, it'd be Pat Connaughton if I had to take somebody for $10. Quickly or Ingles? David, I'd take Quickly over Ingles. Pascal is a value. I'm not really on Pascal, Romy. I don't really play Pascal when the team's fully healthy. Like, I know he'll get solid minutes off the bench. But yeah, I mean, he's still 4,600. Even if he plays 20 minutes, he's gonna have to be really productive to pay off this $4,600 salary. Like, I'm not really on Pascal. He was someone we could play when Draymond was out, but now that Draymond's healthy, Wiseman's healthy, I just don't play Pascal. Thanks, buddy. Been tuning in a lot more. Appreciate the help. Well, I'm glad you're tuning in, Jordan. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm glad I could help. That's what I'm here for, man. Just answer questions. Just give you guys my thoughts, and you can either listen to what I say or you can ignore everything I say. But I assume if you're tuning in to the stream, then you probably care what I say. I mean, I don't know. Lonzo or Bledsoe on Yahoo. I think I would take Lonzo over Bledsoe, Antoine, assuming Lonzo's not limited again. Derek Favors, 3.4K, a good value look on DK. I mean, I'm not really on Derek Favors. He's going to play whatever minutes Gobert doesn't play, so Yeah, I mean, sure, favorites could crush that price if Gobert gets hurt or if Gobert gets in foul trouble, but that's not something I would bank on. Even at 3.4K, I'm not really on Derek Favors. He doesn't have enough upside when he's not getting enough minutes. Appreciate you, Noah. Sure thing, Romy. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for your help today, Noah. Have a good night. You do the same, Ryan. Do the same. Someone less than $16 on Ford on Yahoo. Let's see. Less than $16. It would probably be Bojan. He's $14. So Ford for $16 or less, I'd take Bojan. Good luck tonight, Noah. Peace out. Peace out, Obi-Wan. Appreciate you tuning in. We've been live for about an hour, guys, so I think I'm going to wrap everything up. My mom gets off work in a few minutes, and she's going to head over here. So appreciate all you guys tuning in to the stream once again. I should be live again tomorrow. Probably go live normal time, 3:30 Eastern time tomorrow. But I appreciate you tuning in. Best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always. Appreciate your support. Good luck, guys. Appreciate it. See ya.